Alright guys, so I've got all the bits together that I need for showing you like the components that you need to set yourself up on CB. So I just wanted to really whiz through those different bits and talk you through each bit. Obviously we'll start with the CB radio itself. As I said, I've got a UK40, an old 80s style CB that I got off eBay for 25 quid. And that came with the old push to talk microphone there. Standard issue on all radios really, unless it's a home base. Sometimes you'd have a stand-up microphone that you don't have to hold whilst you're talking. Obviously that's the basic components, but there's a few other bits and pieces that you need. So let's talk about power first of all. Obviously CBs are designed specifically to be used in vehicles, in cars, and I'm sure that's where you find most CB radios. So they're designed to run on 12-volt battery. You just wire it into the car battery and it becomes an sort of integral part of the car, doesn't it? So when we're using a CB at home, there's a couple of different options, and this is probably one of the cheapest and easiest ways. You can go out and buy a 12-volt adapter, and it is a good idea. Basically a little black box or whatever that you run these power cables into, and then that connects into the back of the CB. They were about 25 quid. They are available, but I found this to be a cheaper option. What I did was I went out and bought a car charger one. That goes in obviously in the cigarette lighter of your car. I spliced that together with the correct power connector that I need to go into the back of the CB. And now when I'm in the car, when I do get set up in the car, this will run straight into the car lighter. I'm not going to wire it into the car permanently, just because I've only got the one radio and I might want to be using it indoors sometimes, and just makes everything a bit more portable in terms of plugging it in, taking it out as and when I want to. So in order for that to run on 240, so when I'm in the house, I bought a 240 to cigarette lighter adapter. It was about a £5. So basically you plug that into the wall. I'm sure this makes sense to everybody, and then that goes into the back of that plug, and that will power the CB. So that's sort of the first step to getting everything switched on. And then if you're going to be setting up in a car, I'm sure most people will, and this is probably the cheapest option for getting yourself set up, but you're going to need to go out and buy yourself an aerial. There are a number of different types of aerials out there, and they also vary in cost as much as anything. So the main reason for buying this one, £15 I think, from eBay, was that I wanted the mag mount. So I'm sure everybody understands that you just plonk this on the roof of the boot of your car, as long as it's metal, it'll hold fast to that. And then in terms of the actual aerials themselves, there's different shapes, different sizes. Before this one, I did have a little Springer aerial, but it was pretty useless. I got a couple of very, very weak signals when I first put the CB in the car last weekend, just to see what I'd get. I tried trimming down the Springer aerial to get the SWR down, and I think I've overdone it. Trimmed it down a little bit too much, and it's all gone to pot. So I was going to buy a whip antenna like this, because what I might do is basically this is a fairly standard size fitting, 3/8. So you can buy other aerials that would go into this mag mount, and that's what I'm intending to do. A brief explanation of what we're looking at as well. Obviously the mag mount, there's other ways of connecting an aerial to your vehicle, but this is probably the cheapest and most you know, when you want things to be transferable, you can take it off and put it on the car very easily. This section is the coil or the base, and you can buy different aerials where they're either base loaded as this one is, or center loaded, they'd call that, where you've got basically the coil there, and in rarer occasions you'll get one at the top there. Just bear with me a second, there's someone at the door. Oh, sorry about that, I'm back again. So yeah, we've talked about the aerials. The other thing that I might do, because I've got another, as I said to you, I've got this Springer aerial as well. I've got another little mag mount. What I was thinking, I might, because I'm going to probably replace this, what's called the whip, with a bigger, different one, or at least probably get a completely different aerial. A modulator is what I'm looking for, that can go into this base. And then what I'll do is probably use this whip in place of the Springer whip, or coil, whatever you call it, to give me a second aerial. What I'd like to do is I've got a few ideas for putting CBs in other people's vehicles. Certainly the wife probably would be ending up with one. I do want to have a mobile setup as well as a home base setup. So yeah, we've talked about the radio and the aerial. Now, other bits and pieces that you might need. Certainly, you're going to need one of these. It's a SWA meter. Now, I'll do a separate video on tuning your aerial, probably straight after this one, just to give you some basic instruction. I never did it in the first place. My dad would have set my old CB up, so I've never done this before. Sure, it can't be too difficult. And then what goes with the SWA meter is a patch lead. In another video, I'll show you how you connect it all together. But basically, this short lead runs between the radio and the SWA meter, and then your coax, the near side connection, if you like, of your aerial, goes into the other end of the SWA meter, and sort of creates a chain that means that you can take a measurement from it. The other thing that we've got here, well, two other things we've got. This here box is my home base antenna. This is a half wave, a silver rod, a Venom. I believe they're fairly popular. Not expensive at all. Got it for just under £20 on Amazon, actually slightly cheaper than what they were selling them for on eBay. And then in terms of setting that up, just for now, I've got myself a 10 meter length of coax with the PL259 connectors on either end. I'm thinking longer term that's not going to be enough. Now, I don't have a soldering line, and to be honest, I haven't really got the experience with a soldering line. Well, not in the last 30 odd years anyway. So I might just buy another connector and another length, and that would certainly suit me well enough, I think, for what I've got planned in terms of a home base. I'm going to be putting my radio probably in my garage. I've got a couple of shelves in there, a sort of little work area. That will become kind of my radio shack, hopefully, if this hobby really takes hold. One last thing in terms of little bits and pieces that I bought. This is a non-slip dash mat. I don't want to permanently fix my radio in the vehicle. If I can get away with just resting it on top of the dashboard, using this slip mat, and it don't slide all over the place when I'm taking corners and stuff, then that'll be perfect. And one of the things that I'd like to do once we are set up is get out onto some local hills. Nothing major, but I can, there's a couple of places that I can go where there's like a good view of the horizon, if you like. I can see some good distances, so I'm hoping that we'll pick up some signal when I have got it set up. Alright, so that's just a basic run through of the components. I'll do, as I go to installing it and stuff like that, I will do more videos. So just wanted to run through, as I say, the basic cost of what I've bought. As well, probably comes in at about 70 quid, 20 quid for the home base aerial, bits and pieces, a £5 here. I think the cable was about £6. The adapter was about £3 or £4. The power supply was about £3 or £4. Swale meter was a tenner, and the aerial was £15. This I think was about a fiver. That was about a fiver, and the radio itself was about 25 quid. So, you know, 50 quid for the basic setup for the mobile probably. You do need that Swale meter though, and the patch cable. So probably about 70 quid all in. So next step is, let me show you how to tune an aerial before we then look to get things set up in the car, see how we get along with that. Alright, thanks guys, see you in the next video.